in most instances, when you need to make a decision or do something, the best decision is just one of them. Like a lot of times you just sit there and don't do anything.
Yes.
You make the decision. Unfortunately, it might be the wrong one, but you figure out what it is,
Yes.
adjust it, do something different, completely change that, whatever it is. But like until you do it, you don't know whether it's right or wrong.
Yeah.
And then you find a way to correct it.
But I believe the great is still yet to come. I won't stop fighting, man, until I'm done.
All right, good morning. Welcome to the 23rd episode of The Breakfast Ball. Before we get started, I got to do a couple quick shout-outs. Oh, I almost forgot. I always tell people, when you're rich and famous, if you got something on this podcast, we get 10%. Just so you know.
I didn't see that in the fine print, but we'll go along with it.
Yeah,
We'll see.
thank you, sir. Jeff, I appreciate that. Thank you. My couple quick shout-outs before we get going. Luke Canino, a lifelong student of mine at the Big Swing Golf Center, South Jersey Golf Schools, won the Carl Arena High School Golf Tournament yesterday. The Carl Arena is the largest high school tournament east of the Mississippi River. I don't even know, David, how many teams are there? Like,
I think 40 plus,
Yeah,
maybe even more. They come from everywhere.
it's a big bad boy golf tournament. And Luke shot 71 yesterday, went to a playoff. I know, great, right? And he won. So a shout out to Mr. Canino. We will see him hopefully next week on the podcast.
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
Sit down, Luke.
Yeah, thank you. Yes, yeah, see, look, right. Jeff doesn't even know you and he's wishing you well. It's wonderful. Second shout out, I don't know if you heard, I think I read it somewhere this morning. I don't know. It's did the New York Knicks win yesterday?
I'm not sure. I didn't catch that.
I don't. Something just tells me, screams to me that New York Knicks won. And I always say, in addition to being a lifelong Knicks fan, and you can't give me too much crap because the Knicks, right? The last time they won a championship, I was like 3 years old. So I mean, like the fact that I watch like 60 to 82 games every year, and like I just watched a loss after a loss. They're finally winning, so God bless. And also, David didn't know this, which shocked me. Or it's DMG, by the way. A little known fact, when I coached basketball with my oldest son, Colton, I had this player on my team when he was like 10 years old named Jalen Brunson.
So
Ever heard of that guy?
Never heard. It's fantastic. So you know what? I'm still expecting him to say, one day after one of these games, when I was 10 years old, Coach Cardia shaped my life. I don't think that's coming, and I don't think I'm getting my 10%, although I really wish I would. But
Get him on the podcast.
yeah, you know what? I don't think he's going to return my call, but that's okay. Maybe if we get big enough, he will. Who knows? Anyway, I am your host, Bob Cardia, and to my far left, your far right, is DMG, David Gibson. And now, if you're wondering where Richie is, by the way, because he's been in every podcast, he is in preparation for his U.S. Open qualifier on May 7th. He'll be there at Running Deer. So, played 9 holes with us the other day. He was, 2 under, so he's been playing really, really well. So
That's awesome.
we just had our 3 guys, actually, Zach Arsenault, Sean Hughes, and Sean Sigel, all try to qualify for the Mid-Am.
It's amazing.
Yeah, and they all did. So,
Good stuff.
We're rocking
That's
it.
exciting. Yeah.
And in the middle, our guest for today
Guest of honor.
is oh boy, my phone is ringing. Jeff Collins. Jeff Collins, he is the owner, the president, the CEO, the head honcho
Everything.
of Dogleg Golf. Dogleg Golf is located in Cinnaminson.
Cinnaminson, yep.
Yes. So I always kick, as you guys know, I always kick our show off with a quote. And the quote for today is, "Jump and the net will appear." Coming from a guy who runs his own business and my ready, fiery mentality and just this podcast. Because we started this having no idea what we're doing, although we probably still have no idea what we're doing. But I brought Jeff on the show today because we're actually partnering up, doing some lessons up there, some new programs. But I want to hear, because I never actually heard the entire story of how Dogleg Golf got its wings. So, Jeff, your story.
Well, first of all, thanks for having me. I really appreciate it. This is a great setup. Really appreciate you having me. So I've been in sports my whole life. Played golf at a young age. Was never as serious as a lot of your players and the people we're talking about and Luke, but always enjoyed it and played throughout my as a teenager and into my early 20s. My wife and I, we both played. We played on our honeymoon. Kids came.
Where was that?
We went to Maui. So played Wailea, played Haleakala
We'll take up much room,
Municipal.
by the way, if you ever want to take
Yeah, it was beautiful. It was nice. I have 2 children. They're now 13 and 10. but when they were younger, didn't touch the clubs much. You know, it was not around much. When they got a little bit older, I got back into it, and I kind of dove head first. Played as much as I could, did everything I
Ready,
you know,
fire in, baby.
really got out as much as I could. On a professional side, I was in the clinical research industry for 17 years. Very successful, did a lot of great things, gave me a lot of great opportunities. The past several years, I really caught that itch. And I think a lot of times, I think one of the defining moments was one of the first summers I really got back into it. Was playing a couple times a week, really enjoying it. And then the fall and winter hit, the weather turned.
Yeah,
You couldn't get out there.
Yeah.
And I just had that. And I actually took lessons at one of the places that had a simulator. And I was like, man, this would be great to like
Pretty cool,
as
right?
an option for the bad weather, for the winter, and also to help work on your game in between, in between lesson or in between rounds during the spring and summer. And it was kind of just an idea, and tossed it out to a couple buddies, friends, family. And the more and more I talked about, the more and more, interest it garnered from everyone else. And as things went, I love your ready, aim, fire. It's kind of, you think about it, paralysis by analysis.
Correct.
You kind of like, so I finally just kind of decided to pull the trigger, got the wife's blessing, and we went for it. Started looking at spaces, started
By the
looking
way,
at
your wife
pricing.
is a wonderful woman, I'm sure. 'Cause that's
She's the best. She's, my better half. Really, none of this could have happened
feel free to
without
give her a
her.
shout out right now.
So, Allie, you're the best. Appreciate everything.
got your back, Allie.
No, it was great. So it took, it was all in all probably 3 years in the making, but really once the true decision to do this and run with this.
Pick that location?
So I looked at a bunch of spaces. I worked very closely. I used the TrackMan technology, worked very closely with their team. They worked with my GC and the architect as far as like the space I needed, electrical work. I looked at, probably 15, 20 spaces. Wide range of different things. I love the space, the area. There's a lot of public courses in the general area of Cinnaminson.
Right down there in Riverton also.
Yeah, right around the corner from Riverton. You got Pensauken. You have Ramblewoods right there, Golden Pheasant. A lot of courses right there.
High traffic road too.
High traffic road. A lot of golfers in the area. Not a lot of ranges. That's the other thing. One, in the winter, I want to replace outdoor golf. But as I mentioned, the spring and summer, I want to supplement golf. Work on your game in between rounds. I know as a father with 2 young kids, I'm busy taking to practices and friends' houses. It's hard to carve out time for 2 or 4 hours to play around.
Completely.
You can squeeze one in a little quicker to simulator. So it works from a location standpoint. I'm in Morristown, right around the corner, so it's convenient for me as well.
It's funny because he talks about I've run ranges before. I've built ranges before. People don't realize there aren't many ranges out there. You know why? Because most ranges fail.
Yeah.
Okay? What people don't realize is like, how hard could it be to just put golf balls out there? And yet, one golf ball, especially like when I ran the floating range, runs anywhere from 55 to like 85 cents a ball. Yeah. And if you have to order 2,200 dozen at least 2-3 times a year, that's before you ever pay a bill. That's big bucks, man.
That's just that. And then looking at spaces and stuff, the real estate, like it's a large piece of land that costs a good piece of money.
And now the constraints they put on you with like netting and whatnot. You ever look at the cost of netting?
Yeah.
Like our facility down at Big Swing is 28 acres, so there's no netting involved.
Yeah.
But like if you have to put it in a metropolitan area, because when we put it down there, people are like, nobody's going to come here. Yeah. But as it now turns out, like all the other ranges are basically closed now. Like Big Swing, with the technology and whatnot, is thriving.
Yeah.
All right. So you opened when?
So we opened at the end of February. So we've been open for about 2 months. Okay. So the ball's rolling, it's out and running, and things are going really well. It's really exciting.
Yeah. Good. Yeah. Good. Now, I know, and this is just from my own personal perspective, is when you run places like this, you like to integrate yourself with other, and you were talking about you're doing corporate events now, and you're doing, so how does one set up a corporate event? Yeah,
so right now, kind of we're rolling into things. I'm learning as we go, kind of like you said, aim, shoot, and kind of adjusting as things go.
It, man. I do.
One of the reasons I started, Dog, like I want to make it available for all golfers, make it accessible for all levels. I know the golf heads, the people who really into it, they find their places to golf. Mm-hmm. People getting into golf, sometimes it's a really difficult thing to break into. It's an intimidating sport. You go out on a course, you have a foursome behind you, you're worried about how fast you're going, what you're doing, you're hitting the ball in the woods, how quickly do I need to find it? Like,
Well, I'm sure you don't hit the ball in the woods.
I live in the woods. But it's a tough thing to get into, and I want to make it accessible for those people as well as the seasoned pros, the scratch golfers. But with corporate events, I'm flexible. I have a standard kind of party package that I do for like birthday parties. I've had a lot of kids parties, but I've had a couple things like, hey, I'm thinking about this. Can we do this? And it's a good space. It's about 2,000 square feet, so it's not just the simulators. We have some open space.
a beautiful
We are
facility.
BYOB, so you can bring in food and drink. So flexible with that. So, I'm working with a company now that he wants to give kind of like a little sales presentation and then play a little bit of golf. So we can set it up so you can have presentations on the big screens and then set up a little tournament close to the pin or just kind of play around with your buddies. So.
I love it. So we're now going to be doing a ladies' night at your
Really
place.
excited for that, yeah.
Yes, it's going to be. We have a catered charcuterie board, wine. It's going to be a good time. That's on June
21st.
June
Yep.
21st. So we've been passing that literature out to our lessons and whatnot.
A
So
month or so out,
Yeah.
or 2 months almost out.
So
Yeah.
hopefully it won't get too crazy, ladies. But yes, it's that's going to be on the 21st. We're looking forward to that for sure. You've seen the new flyer?
Absolutely,
That's
yeah.
wonderful.
Yeah.
Good. All right, so let's go with this. Running your own business, and I the pitfalls, the ups and the downs. I mean, it's always funny because every time you think you've got this beat or conquered, something else comes along, and it always presents itself with issues. So, a quote that I do like is, "Every problem is a gift. Without problems, we cannot grow." So, I'll kick it over to DMG here for a second, David. So you talk to me, okay? Because you've now, been on staff now for at least a month or two, right?
Yeah.
So,
Over 2.
yeah, over two, yeah. I find out good stuff. I always tell everybody I have a great memory. It's just a short one.
That's a good one.
So DMG, okay, without problems, or a problem's a gift. Tell us about a that you've run into so far that is a problem that you now deem as a gift.
Yes, definitely getting into this business, giving lessons and being at Big Swing, definitely comes with its set of problems, like every job. But I definitely think adjusting to them, learning from you and Richie have really been the key. And I've seen how Richie, something came up yesterday, for example, he couldn't make a lesson because he had to go see his sister's graduation. The way he called, texted, and rearranged the guys' meeting to actually end up giving a lesson to me.
Right.
The professionalism, the rolling with the punches, I've learned from Richie and you a lot with that. It's more about just taking it in and keeping it moving. If you get, what did we talk about, paralysis?
Or paralysis by analysis.
Yes. There's no time for that in business, and especially owning your own business. Got to keep things moving.
We talk about that all the time. That's and we sit here at our staff meetings every Wednesday, the four of us, and we go through things. And every time a problem presents itself, we had a couple issues with our league coming up, just for insurance purposes. They didn't want people on the golf course, and because they didn't want to buy golf balls and covered and all that kind of stuff. And when that kind of stuff comes up, I don't want to say, let's just not do it. No, it's what do we have to do to make this work? And Robert Kiyosaki, I don't know if you read the book Rich Dad Poor Dad.
I'm aware of it, but not right.
I read a lot. But he said something in that book that I share with people all the time. People ask me, because I bought a house on a lake, right? Mm-hmm. And my friend Brian, who I love dearly, he's more conservative than I am, but he's like, because you're going to go bankrupt doing this stuff. You just came out of a divorce. What are you doing? And I'm like, you know what? I don't like to ever be told that I can't do something. So don't ask me if can you afford this? And this is probably where you are too. Don't ask me if can I afford. What do I have to do to be able to afford this? Yes. So when you look at that way, anything is possible. Yeah. Like if I can't afford this, I'm sure when you were going to open this business, you were like, can I afford this?
Yeah.
If you're asking, can you afford it, or if you're looking for inspiration, you probably shouldn't go that way, right? So. How does that?
Yeah, no, it makes sense, and I think the other thing I was going to mention is in looking at some of the past podcasts, a lot of the lessons you teach and the mantras you instill on the course are more relevant to me, like in life. And I think the Ready Aim Fire is one of them. In most instances, when you need to make a decision or do something, the best decision is just one of them. Like a lot of times you just sit there and don't do anything.
Yes.
You make the decision. Unfortunately, it might be the wrong one, but you figure out what it is,
Yes.
adjust it, do something different, completely change that, whatever it is. But like until you do it, you don't know whether it's right or wrong.
Yeah.
And then you find a way to correct
yeah.
it.
Yeah, I love that. So Chris Hammerkus was, I think, our first guest. I think you were here for that, David.
Yeah.
Highly successful business guy. And he was talking to me recently about maybe at some point, down the road, is maybe buying a business and like not running it or overseeing it,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
If he can do that, and I love it because I tell him all the time, like he's the kind of guy that can do this kind of thing. But unless you put yourself out there and do it, and Steve Harvey, or the first quote we do, unless you jump, right? Then you'll never know,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
That's the quote that I was reading last night. That it's not on my notes today, but just kind of popped into my head. It is, if you don't live your dreams, right? If you don't push your own goals, or you don't do what you want to do, right? Then someone's going to hire you to try to fulfill their dreams. Yeah, which I'm not good working for other people. I'm not good sitting at the desk. I'm not good with technology. But but what I am good with is let's go. Like that's. I mean, like the guys in Rutgers asked me at the conference championship, Coach, how many times did you say "let's go"? I'm like, yeah, well, you know what? Probably more than most people, but that's my genuine belief is let's go.
That's great. I love it.
Thank you. So, all right, next one I want to throw out there. Only those who risk going too far can see how far they can go. Right. And actually, David, this is actually pretty good for DMG because coming into this business, it's like any business. Like if you wanted to be a salesperson, or you want to be a real estate person, that you have to build a book. You want to be a doctor, like your business, you have to build a book. And people, I've had many people I've hired over the years that come, I want to be a golf pro, right? So they think it's about playing golf, right? And I think about customers just come in and come in and come in. Every place I've gone, it starts off with you have one lesson on Wednesday morning at 9, and then one at 3, and then it's the guys that come in and say to me, well, can you try to put all my lessons together in the morning, because I want to play golf in the afternoon. Yeah, you know what?
how it works.
You got to come when the customers come, right?
Yeah.
And Richie started off slow. Andrew Pearson, who's now the director of golf instruction at Indian Springs, he started with me. A couple lessons here, a couple lessons there. You build a book, you grow. Yeah. Now he's at Indian Springs. Indian Springs has the largest women's league, apparently in the country. So that is cool. Yeah, I know, right? We're gonna get them up, right?
Yeah.
Say, ladies in Indian Springs, I'm coming for you, just so you know. So okay, with that said, where do you see this going?
So I have a couple different directions, but I think one of the things, like you said, you get started and see where it goes. In my clinical research career, I spent about 7-8 years on the sales side, and then about 10 years on the operations side. So kind of saw both of those and looking kind of mix both of those as well. I don't want to sell ice cubes to Eskimos. You want to find the right match and where it is. Like I said, I'm getting more younger kids parties than expecting. So hone in on that. Find if there's an angle on this corporate side. Obviously, looking at expanding, one of the great compliments I've gotten several times is hey, is this a chain? It's no. So I think that means it looks like I know what I'm doing as far as the setup and everything. Yeah. But looking at growing and expanding, I like some of the models. I don't want to be like the Topgolf necessarily, but I would like to incorporate food and beverage into places as we expand. Of course, get bigger, different locations. But I like the idea of the food and drink. I like the I like the idea of mixing the casual and the serious golfer, and but don't want to steer away from the golf as much because I do think it's the important part. That's the part I love, and I always want that to be the core.
That's a conversation you and I can actually have because we did that. We had the snack bar at Big Swing. What food? When they sold us on custard, soft serve ice cream. No, don't do that. Don't go that direction. That doesn't work. But yeah, it's a conversation you and I can have because I found. because with the health and all that kind of the board of health, and there's certain things you want to get involved.
Well, the amount of permits and things that they do with
Yes.
what I think is a relatively simple building a business model.
Nothing is ever simple.
I'm horrified
You know?
of tackling the food and beverage, but it's something that's, like I said,
You want to hear crazy? I'm gonna say crazy. So we decided to open that snack bar. Okay. So it's a 28 acre. Have you been down there yet?
Yes, I have,
Okay.
yeah.
28 acre facility, huge facility. So we're gonna open a snack bar. How hard could it be, right? Okay. So the capacity of our septic system, right? That's what came up at like the planning board meeting. And we're like, well, not that many people use the bathroom. Well, they're like,
Well, if they're eating and drinking.
Right. So you know what they did? This is a true story. On a busy weekend, they had somebody come out from the township, sit in a chair between the two bathrooms, and count the number of people on a Friday, Saturday, and Sunday use the bathroom. How'd you like that job, by the way, folks?
Yeah.
I'm the guy who sits outside the bathroom. Excuse me, did you flush? Because there was also a urinal or a toilet. So, like, you had to determine which one it was and how much water was used. And, like, I'd just rather shoot myself in that job. But that was so I could open a snack bar. So, like, you never know, right? It's crazy.
Did you have to get any permits or anything just for I mean, obviously for the business itself, but like for people swinging golf clubs, like insurance and that stuff?
Yeah, so I had to work with a lawyer. There's a waiver you need to sign kind of to cover your bases on that side. But other than that, no, it's just the standard kind of building fire permits and electrical permits and things like that would come with any kind of building or
There's
structure.
a template, right? So there's categories of insurance.
Each township has the permits, and then spoke with the lawyer as far as covering yourself from a waiver standpoint.
Gotcha.
You could probably, because I know that what I've done, because golf school is obviously insured, that if you join an organization that offers insurance, you can kind of piggyback
Actually,
on
yep.
there. Yeah, that's what we've done in the past. Yeah, well, we're looking forward. We haven't done much up there yet, but we're available for lessons up at Dogleg. So if you want Richie, myself, or DMG over there, we'll be available to teach up that way. Entrepreneurs. I love entrepreneurial stuff. So it's interesting. So did you play competitive golf at all?
I did not. No.
Okay.
So I played soccer, basketball, and baseball in high school, and then played club soccer in college.
Okay. Where'd you go?
University of Delaware.
Okay. Blue Hens.
So,
Nice
yeah.
campus, by the way.
Beautiful. That's what sold it for me.
Yeah,
It was between.
You were rival. I went to Towson.
Okay,
So
yeah,
you guys
yeah,
were rivals,
yeah.
so can't like you that. But, now, are you from that Cinnamon area originally, or no?
So I grew up in until I was about 13. I lived in Pennsauken, and then moved out to Chemung, where my parents still are now. And then my wife and I, we've been in Morristown for the past 8 years or so.
Okay.
So in the general area, yes.
Do your kids play golf?
Yes, they're getting into it. Love it.
Nice.
So,
Okay.
Yeah.
And they're 13 and
10.
10. Okay.
13 and 10.
All right.
Yep.
So you gotta get them involved.
Yeah.
So, but you know what? South Jersey Golf Schools. There you go.
Here we
So
go.
when they're rich and famous, way to modify this deal, right? Because
Well, yeah,
if I
if you get
get
10% of me, I don't know if you can get 10% of them too. I don't know.
yeah, I
If
know, right? But we'll give you 12. I'll take 10, and they can keep the other 78% or so, something like that.
I'll send it to my agent. We'll see if we can work
Right,
something out.
exactly. That's what I tell my kids all the time too. It's but is that what the sport they want to play? Because I know my kids like it's. I tell this story all the time too. So I've coached the middle school wrestling team. I've coached football. I've coached travel baseball. I've coached travel basketball. It's when my kids became old enough to play sports.
Yeah.
You started with golf young. I did, but so I played junior PGA golf.
Yeah.
Then I played high school golf. The high school team, we made a couple state finals. College golf, we won a conference. Then I went on to play a little professional golf. I got 4 fused vertebrae, so that career ended. So that's why I teach. And then my kids are all old enough, and guess what I ended up as?
Yeah.
The president of Little League Baseball.
Yep.
Which is president of Cherry Hill American Little League Baseball for years as a golf pro.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, that's because that's what they wanted to do. So I've found if you force them into it, they don't want to do it. So.
No, and that's kind of exactly what I was going to say. We're at the stage now with them. I want them to just enjoy whatever they're doing as much as possible.
Yeah.
So my daughter, she loves to do everything. She's into gymnastics, field hockey, softball, golf.
Gymnastics is a cult, by the way. I didn't say that.
Well, what I love it from an athletic standpoint,
Yes.
it builds so much body strength and
Yes.
coordination that regardless of where she goes from there, it's a great foundation at her age.
My
she's
daughter's in
getting into-
dance. She's 13.
Yeah,
She
and I think
does-
dance is another great one.
Yes.
Yeah, body control,
Yes.
core strength, things that are like really useful in all their sports. So I
Yes.
think it's a great a great place to start.
Especially
Yeah.
golf, that core strength.
Yeah.
There you go.
Well, it's funny. That's the other thing I like to tell, not necessarily my kids, but maybe like high schoolers, like when they're looking at sports and like, maybe when you're in high school, you think you're going pro in whatever you're playing, and the likelihood of that is minimal.
Almost nothing.
But I can guarantee, like when you're 15, 16 playing baseball or basketball, you're likely not going to be doing that, playing pickup basketball or playing baseball when you're, my age, 42.
Yeah.
You'll probably be playing golf. So get started now, like enjoy it, get good at it. And, I was, kind of behind the eight ball on that. Wish I had started kind of more seriously at a younger age, but yeah, but all in all, with the kids, they're both interested in golf, but many other things, and not pushing them in any direction.
Yeah, although your daughter, it is the most unused scholarship.
That's my wife. She played field hockey at Cornell and actually coached at Morristown for 17 years, and that's one of her big things. It's the biggest opportunity for scholarships for
because there were
young women now.
There were no high school girls golf teams like 10 years ago, and now. I guess the word's out now because everybody has a girls' golf team. Literally, if you can break 80 as a girl, you're gonna get you're gonna get money. If not a full scholarship, you'll get something. I know the unicorn Annabelle, who was one of our students. She's good golf swing. Shoots in the 80s. She got offered scholarship.
That's awesome.
Not full rides, but like enough money where it was worth her while.
Yeah.
So you never know. You don't. That's I was a site director for the Girls LPGA's girls golf program for a long time. Actually, Debbie just came out. So Debbie, actually, her daughter Elise went from us and ended up working for the PGA, and ended up as a rules official for the USGA.
Oh, that's
cool.
cool.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I don't know. I'm like the Bill Belichick or the Bill Parcells of South Jersey golf.
And cut off your sleeves.
Yeah. Oh yeah. What Clyde Frazier, baby, let's go. You gotta understand, man. Being a Knicks fan is a long-suffering thing.
I'm a Philadelphia fan. I'm well aware of pain and suffering.
Yeah, that's true. I know. He was talking about his Phillies, and they're doing well. That's fine. But like I always say, like with Phillies fans, like you could win like the next 25 World Series in a row, and I'll be long dead by that point. And like then you'll finally catch where the Yankees are now. Just saying. I'm sorry. I know where I am. Anyway, is there anything else you want to throw in there? I love the entrepreneurial spirit. I love what you're going for. I'm looking forward to a prosperous future.
No, likewise, and I really appreciate this. No, I think that the main thing I just want to put out there is like I really want to make golf accessible to the scratch golfer, to the person just getting into it. I want you to enjoy the game, like the game, and I think that Dogville is a great opportunity to do that. So
I completely agree.
Pressure off. It's a fun atmosphere, a really great way to either better your game or learn it. And I encourage everyone to come check it out.
And they use TrackMan technology, which I've used other simulators before. TrackMan, it's the best. So it thin slices stuff into a really high level. So you went go big or go home.
I worked with and had the sales presentation from a lot of the different simulators, and they really did offer the best there was. Right. It's accurate up to the half a yard, and like I said, for the scratch golfer, the one that's really working on it, it gives you all the data and feedback that you need to better your game, and also has a lot of easy, fun things to do for kids and people just starting off. So it really does offer the gambit, and regardless of what you're doing, it's the best of the best. It really is great technology.
Yeah. Because you could probably go with one of the less expensive units and capture the party crowd and all that kind of stuff. But if you're looking to catch everybody, that's what the really competitive players always say is the TrackMan. That's what they do.
That's what I love when you watch the players on the range before a big tourney. You see the little orange box behind them on the driving range. Mm-hmm. They're the same ones we have at our facility. So.
I was gonna say, coming from me, I've used simulators a few times. TrackMan's by far been the best, and I've realized I'll go with my girlfriend who. Listen, I teach golf and golf swings. Her swing is no good. I would not take her on the golf course. I would not take.
Wow,
she's getting better. She's been working, but
this could be the last podcast we're together. Her golf swing's bad though. You say it's
really
aspiring.
Practice.
You don't say it's bad.
Yeah,
it's aspiring.
it's progression, not perfection. You're right.
Right,
You're
yes.
right. We're progressing her swing.
Right, yes,
but
God.
yes, I wouldn't take her on a real golf course. But we played 9 holes in an hour, maybe an hour, 15 minutes, and I was like, this is amazing for her. Me and her were enjoying it so much compared to. on a course, it would
Yeah,
it would have been a long
it would have
day.
been a little more
Yeah.
frustrating. Yeah.
Yeah. People behind you, they love you. Yes, yeah, they're the people. I know. Yeah. Well, wonderful. Folks, remember when? Oh, if you like what we're doing, by the way, hit subscribe. And like I always say, when you're rich and famous, if you get something out of this, 10%. And also, if you want to go on our website, we do have breakfast ball. It was great, by the way. I went to work yesterday to see.
I saw his shirt.
Yeah, one of the guys that works at Big Swing was
Yeah.
wearing a breakfast. He
Oh,
actually
nice.
went online and ordered breakfast ball attire. He was wearing it, so like, let's go.
It looks really good
It
too.
does, it
Nice
does.
colors, nice material. Yeah,
He's now a spokesmom.
yeah. We got a model.
Well, anyway, folks, thank you so much for joining us. If you need anything, South Jersey Golf School, Dogleg.
We hit
we're at Big-
100K.
What's that?
We hit
Oh,
100K.
yeah, I forgot that. My God, what am I doing?
Yeah, that's a big
I should have
one.
put that at the beginning. We have gone over 100,000 views in like 9 or 10 countries. So if you're watching in India somewhere, God bless you. We'll, you still owe us 10%.
Ciao.
Ciao. Take care.
Glass of bourbon, ha ha. My bourbon, ha ha. My bourbon, ha ha. Alcohol. Because no great story ever started with, I'll have a salad.